first time that I came to Kenya was in 1987. And my sister, Auma Obama, was actually teaching here at the university that year. And so I came to stay with her for a month.
He needed to find out where he was from, find out about his family, and more importantly, he needed to find out about his father. And I was the link for that because I was in contact with all the different parts of our family.
I learned how my father had grown up in a tiny village called Alego. And I began to understand and appreciate the distance he had traveled. From being a boy herding goats to a student at the University of Hawaii and then to Harvard University to the respected economist that he was upon his return to Kenya. In many ways, he embodied the new Africa of the early 60s.
And when my father came back, the pressures were enormous and the expectations were really great. And it was too much because he couldn't cope with it because we have so many people who call themselves family. But he had to deal with it at the same time still trying to maintain the cultural balance. And I think he failed. He didn't succeed in being able to move the family forward because he was one person trying to look after hundreds.
When I was at the University of Nairobi, I thought about my father. I thought about standing there speaking not only to the students but also to a number of people who had known my father.
I discovered that for all my father's education, his life ended up being filled with disappointments. His ideas about how Kenya should progress often put him at odds with the politics of ethnicity and patronage. He ended up being fired from his job and prevented from finding work in the country for many, many years.
To be in a position where I could maybe echo some of his thoughts was important to me. And I think that had he been there, he would have appreciated it.
In many ways, then, my family's life reflects some of the contradictions of Kenya, and indeed the African continent as a whole. There's no doubt that what Kenyans have accomplished since independence is both impressive and inspiring. But for all the progress that's been made, we must surely acknowledge that neither Kenya nor the African continent has yet fulfilled its potential. Like many nations across this continent, where Kenya is failing is in its ability to create a government that is transparent and accountable, one that serves its people and is free from corruption. We all here have to admit, and this is a sensitive point, that here in Kenya it is a crisis. It is a crisis. It's a crisis that is robbing honest people of the opportunities they fought for. Corruption erodes the state from the inside out, sickening the justice system until there's no justice to be found, poisoning the police forces until their presence becomes a source of insecurity rather than a source of security. In the end, if the people cannot trust their government to do the job for which it exists, to protect them and to promote their common welfare, all else is lost. And this is why the struggle against corruption is one of the great struggles of our time. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.